Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today I thought I would go over how I budget for my long-term savings goals and bills. And I guess what I consider my long-term categories is my meat restock, because that's usually only paid on a yearly basis, our memberships, which is mainly just our golf membership, home insurance, property taxes, lawn care, Christmas, auto insurance, auto tags / registration, our health savings account, and then if I have anything extra, it would go towards emergency fund, pet emergency, home maintenance, vacation, and auto maintenance. So those are basically my long-term categories. So I kind of want to go over this Excel sheet, and this will work for anybody that's using savings challenges to help them save for these categories, or that just want to put money aside to help them prepare for these bills. And I'll just kind of go through how I do it. I'm sure there are several ways you could figure this out, but this is just what has worked for me. So basically what I would do is I would list all my categories. And right now I'm just going to put a goal. I basically have a goal amount for the ones that I know I want to fund. Like I feel like these at the end are just if we have extra money, then that will be going towards these categories down here. So like for instance, my meat restock, my goal amount is roughly $1,000. So I put $1,000 in here. And then if I do have anything set aside, like if I already have some money saved in that category, I would add that amount. So these aren't exact amounts either. I'm just making up these amounts. These aren't my exact numbers. I'm just showing this as kind of a demo. So I'm just making up amounts here. But let's say I have $100 saved already. So I have this set as a formula. So then this amount, it figures this amount for me already. So 1,000 minus 100 is 900. And let's say we just recently bought our beef. So we have a whole almost year. I'm going to say the due date is like around January, because that's usually when the local farmer has the beef ready for us. So then if I want to have this money set aside by January 1st, then I have 10 months left to save for this. So if I want to figure out what my monthly amount is, I would take my $900, which is that's how much I have left to save, and I have 10 months to make that goal. So I'm going to divide that by 10, and that gives me an amount that I would have to set aside every month to make sure I met this goal in 10 months. So the next step I do, since I kind of budget and I do savings challenges weekly, I go ahead and divide this by 4. And I'll kind of explain later too what happens if there's like a 5th week in the month. Now let's go ahead and go through all this, and then I'll kind of go over that. So I need to save $22.50 per week to make sure. So I'll just round that up to $23. Now, if you want to, let's say you're paid monthly, you would just know that you would need to set aside $90 out of that your monthly paycheck in order to pay for that bill when it's due. Now, if you're get paid every 2 weeks, you could divide this number by 2. Like if you're not using savings challenges and you want to divide this by 2 for each paycheck, you could divide it by 2, and then that would tell you how much money per paycheck you would have to set aside for this category. So let's say our memberships, let's say those are $800, and I don't have anything saved yet. And that is, I'm having a due date because let's say we've already paid for our membership this year. So a lot of times I'm saving for these bills for next year, because I already have 2024 saved for most of them, not all of them. But let's say I have until March of 25. So then I have 12 months to save for this. So then I would take my $800 divided by 12, and that gives me, I need to be putting away roughly $67 a month. So $67, And then, like I said, I like to divide that by 4. So I will take 67 divided by 4, and that's roughly $17. Okay, and let's say home insurance. Let's say that is $2,900, and I have 0 saved, and I have 12 months to pay to save up for that. So I will take 2,900 divided by 12, and that gives me roughly 242. 242. And then I want to divide that by 4. So that's, I'll round that up to $61. Property taxes. Let's say my property taxes are $3,500, and let's say I have $400 saved. So that gives me that I need a remaining balance of $3,100 that I need to save. So I take $3,100 divided by how many months I have, which I have 14 months. Let's say I already have my property tax money saved up for 2024. And so now I'm starting to save for 2025. And so I have 14 months. So that's roughly 222. Or what was that? Let's look here. Yeah, 222. And then we would divide that by 4, because there's usually 4 weeks. Divided by 4, so that's roughly $56. Lawn care. Let's say that costs us $1,000 to have somebody come out and fertilize and spray our yard, and I have 0 saved, and this isn't due. I've already saved for my 2004, so I have 12 months to save for this. So 1,000 divided by 12 is, I'm going to round that one down to $83 a month. So 83 divided by 4, I need to put away about $21 a week. Okay, for Christmas, let's say I want to save $1,000 for Christmas, and let's say I have 200 saved already. So that leaves me where that I need to come up with another $800, and I want to have this money by October 1st because that's probably when I'm going to start shopping. So I have to divide by 7 because I only have 7 more months to save for that. So that is roughly $114, and then I want to divide that by 4. So that's roughly $29. Okay, auto insurance. Let's say my 6-month premium is $1,600 and I have nothing put down. Okay, if I have nothing put down, let's say my next premium is due here in April. So I already have that April payment saved up. So now I'm working on the next 6-month premium. So from today until my next premium due in October gives me 7 months. So 1,600 divided by 7 is 229. And then if I divide that by 4, that gives me about $57 I need to put away. Okay, car tags or registration. Let's say that runs me $950, and let's say I have 200 already put aside and that it's due in August. And let's just say I haven't saved up for that. All I've saved up so far is $200. I still have to save $750. I'm going to divide that by 5 because that's how many more months I have to save for that. And that is $150 per month. And then if I want to break it down into weeks, I divide it by 4. And so that's roughly $38. And then health savings account. Let's say my goal for this year is $7,000. And I don't have anything put away. And I want to try to have that by May of next year. So I have 14 months to save for that. So I would take 7,000 divided by 14 months, and that's $500 per month I'd have to set aside. And for weekly, I divide by 4, and that gives me $125. Now, I'm not going to put any amounts down here because basically, if we have a 5th paycheck of the month, or if I have anything extra over what I need to pay, then maybe I would put a little bit towards these categories. But here I have a formula here that tells me basically I would consider these mandatories that I have to save up. I mean, there's a few that obviously aren't a necessity. If I had to cut anything out, the lawn would be cut out, memberships would probably be cut out, things like that. But I consider these my mandatories that I have to put a minimum of $1,697 away in order for me to make sure I have the money to fund either the account or to pay that bill. Since I do use savings challenges to save for these funds, this is basically how I do it. So I've already kind of pre-filled some of this to go by a little quicker. So I listed what are the dates that our paychecks come in. What are the dates that I do my short-term videos, my long-term videos, and my Saturday videos. So this is just kind of a little bit simplified version of what I use. And this, again, this isn't my exact amounts. I'm not going to be entering in our exact pay that we get. I'm just using this as a demo to kind of show you, if you were wanting to use savings challenges, how you may want to do that. So if you wanted to do savings challenges once a week, you would list those dates. So like I do them once a week. So I do videos on Tuesdays and I do videos on Thursdays. And my videos on Thursdays are the ones where I'm saving for those long-term categories that I just went over. So since I do them on a weekly basis, I list those dates. But let's say you only want to do them on your payday weeks. You would list those dates down and do it that way. So let's say our pay we get paid bi-weekly. So we do have a few magic months, which I think is only 2 months out of the year. So for the most part, we just get 2 paychecks. So I'm just going to kind of pretend it's both me and my husband, we get paid on the same day. So let's say our combined income for paycheck 1 is going to be $3,500 and $3,500. We get paid salary. So I do know what we're going to have budgeted every month. And so I can kind of do this. I do this right at the beginning of the month because I know our pay never changes. So nothing really fluctuates unless something other comes in. Like if we, I don't know, get some birthday money, or if we have some interest on an account that we want to add in here, or just anything extra that may, Etsy money or anything extra that I may have coming in. But again, these aren't our real numbers. I'm just kind of making up amounts here. And then the next thing I do, and I do have formulas in here. So you're going to see numbers populate in here because I want to allocate all this money. I kind of want to give all my money a job. And if there's anything left over here, that's either going to be going in the buffer, or I'll just need to know that I need to allocate more money to some of these challenges. Because my short-term challenges goes to basically my sinking funds. So my short-term sinking funds like pet fund, clothing, my spending money, Sam's Club, things like that. So let's say I kind of break down bills too. So let's just say the bills that are probably going to run me this first 2 weeks is $1,205. And let's say the second paycheck, the second part of the month, about $1,203. Okay, so that's telling me I still have $2,295 and $2,297 left to budget for my challenges. So I make sure I'm taking care of my bills first. So my bills are taken right off of the amount we get paid. And then I know from that sheet that I did before, this total here of what I allocate has to, at a minimum, equal 1,698. So that's at a minimum of what I need to do for savings challenges. And like I said, I like to zero this out. So I did kind of figure this out already. But let's say a minimum of $16.98. Let's divide that by 2 because I have 2 paychecks. So I know $8.49, a minimum of $8.49 has to come out of each check in order for me to have money saved up. So that's a minimum. See, I have that balance right here, $1,698. That totaled all my bills. But I know I only need to put in probably about $550 each pay period for my short-term sinking funds. So that is what I'm going to allocate. Let's say that's what I'm going to allocate for my short-term challenges that fund my sinking funds. Now on, let's say I'm trying to get a month ahead on all my bills. So I'm trying to get anywhere from 3 to 6 months ahead on our living expenses. So let's say I want to allocate at least $125 2 month ahead. And if you can see here, I list all the dates for Saturdays. And if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's actually 5 Saturdays in the month of March. So I decide which 2 categories do I want to stuff twice. And the next time there's a 5th month, then I might do 2 videos for vacation. I might save twice for vacation and maybe only do once for my scratch, stick, and roll savings. So I know I want to set aside about $125 per paycheck to save for a month ahead. And then for vacation, let's say I want to set aside, I want to do about $300. So I'm going to set aside $150. And then for our boat savings, I want to allocate about $125 per paycheck. And then what I end up doing down here is for month ahead, since I'm doing 2 videos, I take this total. So I'm going to be stuffing $250. Each video, I will be allocating $125 because I'm going to be, so I would take this total. So like, let's say I had more money. This is going to total this column. So I just take this total right here and I divide it by how many times I want to stuff that binder that month. So if I only wanted to stuff that binder once, do those challenges once that in the month of March, I would just put the amount of $250 and do it all in one day. But since I'm going to do it a couple Saturdays, I divided it by 2. So same with vacation. It totaled $300. I want to set aside $300 out of our paychecks in the month of March. So I'm only going to stuff those challenges one time this month. So a total of $300 is going to go there. For our boat savings, let's say I want to do $250, but I'm going to do those challenges twice this month. So I would divide it by 2, which gives me $125. All right, now I know this is where I'm going to leave my short-term challenges because I just don't feel like I need any more money than this to allocate to my sinking funds. So what I would do, so there are 4 weeks in the month of March. So since there are 4 weeks, I take that total, the 1,100, which is this total of how much I'm putting towards my short-term challenges, and I divide it by 4. And that's going to give me, each week, I can stuff $275. 275, 275. Now, if there was going to be a 5th Tuesday in that, because some months there are 5 Tuesdays in that month, I would take that total 1,100 and I would divide it by 5. Whoops. 1,100 divided by 5. So then if there was going to be a 5th week in that month, then each week would only get 220. All right, so I want to allocate all this money. So since I do have a little bit of extra money here from each paycheck, I'm actually going to add that to the amount in my long-term challenges. So I know I'm going to be able to make my monthly allocation to my challenges, and now I can put extra so that way it'll go towards those extra things like emergency fund, pet emergency, home maintenance, things like that. So I want to zero that out. So in order to zero this amount out, I can do 1,345 and 1,347. So that gave me a new total here for my long-term challenges. Now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 weeks in March. There's 4 Thursdays in March. So I would take 2,692 divided by 4. So I can put in $673 into those challenges every week. Now again, if there was 5 weeks, I would have to take that total 2,692 divided by 5. So used to hitting 4 here. Divided by 5. So then I would only be putting roughly, now if I get kind of an off amount, I just 1 week, maybe this one will get 174. This week might get 172. I'd get it so it evens out. Instead of 673, if there was a 5th Thursday, each week would get 538. So now to go back, I'm going to go back to this and kind of go over this too, why I figure out these amounts. So since I stuff weekly, when I come up with trying to figure out what challenges I'm doing, let's say I want to make sure I finish a challenge, like on this one, maybe I want one once a month to get done, or maybe I want one, at least one every quarter. You know, I kind of think of those things. I want to think about how quick do I want to finish these challenges. So each week I know in whatever challenge I have set aside at that time, I put a little note on the bottom of that savings challenge that I need to stuff a minimum of $23 in there in order for me to have the money saved up. So I make a note so that way I know I need to be putting $23 into this challenge. And what I'll do is I will just pick out a few challenges, however many I want to do for meat restock, and they will have to total, well, since like I have 900 left to save, those challenges complete would have to total $900. So I'll pick out, maybe I'll pick out a couple, I'll do 3 $300 challenges, and 3 times 3 is 900, or 3 times 300 is 900. So that'd give me my total. Let's say memberships, I have to save 800. So maybe I want to do 4 $200 challenges, because I only need to put in $17. So I really don't want to like do an $800 challenge, because I'll be doing that challenge for a whole year. And to me, I'm more motivated if I can finish the challenges a little quicker. So on these lower amounts, I tend to pick lower denomination. So I might find more of a $200 challenge, and then I'll put a note on the bottom of it, what it's for. I'm using this challenge for membership, and I got to put a minimum of $17 in there. So that way I have it there right on that piece of paper. I don't have to, you know, keep track of it any other way. So like for insurance, this one is a bigger dollar amount, $2,900. So this might be where I pick more of like a $500 or $700 challenge. And I know I'll put a note that I need to save $61 every week in that challenge. And so I will pick out a bunch of challenges that total $2,900. And then like this one, I need to save $7,000. So I might pick more of a higher dollar challenge. I might pick one that's going to save me $2,000 when it's complete. And I would write $125. Sometimes I have more than one challenge going at one time. Like right now I have, I think, 3 challenges going for my HSA. So I just make a note that when I stuff those 3 challenges that week, I got to make sure out of all 3 of those challenges, I put roughly $125 in per week. And then, like I said, if I have anything extra, then I will I'll have a savings challenge usually for all these categories, and I'll be putting a little bit towards that if I have any extra money. They will be going to those challenges. Or if I have a 5th paycheck, maybe I will most of the time I continue to stuff my mandatories. That'll just mean that I got in an extra payment that month, and I'm just a little bit more ahead on meeting my goal for that. I think that is it. So if you guys have any questions, you can leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. But like I said, this is just the way I do it. And there was a couple of you requesting me to go over how I figure out how much I'm stuffing it into my challenges. And so I just thought I would put this out here. I'm sure there's plenty of ways to be doing this, and everybody's budget's different. Obviously, everybody's numbers are going to be different. And again, these were just demo numbers. They're not my exact numbers. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.